Hello, hello. Welcome to the PHNX Sun Devils postgame show brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings, the one and only America's top-rated sportsbook. Be sure to download the app today and use code PHNX. You will get $200 in free bets after making your first NFL bet of just $1. I'm joined as always with Brittany Boyer. Brittany Boyer, fresh off a win. How you feeling?
Honestly, I mean, the second half was a lot better, but watching that first half was torturous almost.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was rough to watch. Offense really couldn't get things going. And besides Jaden on the ground, it seemed like no passes were really looking really spectacular. I mean, nothing really jumped out to me in terms of Jaden's pass game. Defense they looked like they got punched in the face to start the game off. Had no idea not that they had no idea, but they looked like they got caught on their heels going into this game. A lot of thoughts, a lot of takeaways from this game. A lot of questions going into this week once again. So yeah, how are you feeling, Shane, after watching that game? You watched it from the studio, so a little different than watching it from the stadium. You got to hear what the commentators were saying on TV. What are some of your takeaways?
Well, first of all, watching an ASU football game from the studio alone at night, Pac-12 after dark, it's a little scary. I'm not gonna lie. I brought a nice TV dinner with me. Yeah, I brought a nice TV dinner with me, some water, drank a Bang Energy, kind of enjoyed my time. I was telling you earlier, our producer came and joined onto this Mac when I was in the other room, and I heard a disembodied male voice talking to me, and I thought I was going crazy. But the game,
that would be scary for sure.
But the game itself, I mean. Our defense was terrible in the first half. They made Brumfield, their quarterback, look like he was All-American, and he's good. I mean, he's got some wheels, not a great arm on him, but yeah, they did step it up in that second half for sure. It looked a lot better.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Not to take anything away from what their quarterback did, but defensively, ASU's defense should have performed at a much higher caliber than what everyone saw on the field tonight. It just was not, or at least in the first half, it just was not there.
And we got a little more of what I was talking about in our last shows. We got a little more of Jaden in the pocket. And I don't know if I want to see that much anymore. He missed Bunkley a couple times over the middle. I think it was a third down, like near the end of the first half. And he just completely missed them. And that would have blown the game wide open.
Yeah. Wide open.
Yeah.
I know exactly what play you're talking about. I feel like everyone in the stadium really kind of had a good view of it because of just where it was at on the field. It's not like it was a corner pass or something where there's someone in the way. He was wide open, probably around, what was it, like the 10-yard line, I want to say, somewhere in that area. Would have been a crucial first down, get them into the red zone. And it's not even like the pass got broken up or it was like a pass into coverage. The receiver dropped it or anything. It was just a blatant, I don't even know what he was aiming for because it was not even close.
Yeah. And again, penalties to start. And by no means is this game like a huge red flag, but 2 in a row, it's a little bit concerning for a team that's supposed to be in the top 25. The lack of discipline on pretty big downs sometimes too. There was a couple on 3rd and 10. And I would just wonder what Herm is thinking. I'm sure he's going crazy.
Yeah, and I felt like I'm planning to go to the press conferences once a conference play starts because I feel like going to them then is going to be a lot more beneficial in terms of what his takeaways are going to be and what he's going to talk about. I mean, we already discussed this on our show earlier in the week. I feel like he's treating this exactly like it's the NFL postseason. I mean, even when they were down, it didn't really seem like he was worried. When they were only up 14-10, it didn't really seem like he was worried. I mean, granted, not that there necessarily was a reason to be worried, but there just didn't seem to be any sense of urgency, I guess is what I'm saying. And I guess it's kind of a good thing, but it's also kind of a bad thing. You want to see the sense of urgency in the players. You want to see them going out there and actually looking like they're concerned, but at the same time, you don't want to see them making dumb plays, just trying too hard to do something or trying to force it where it doesn't fit. And we didn't necessarily see that. So I don't know. There's just, I think that going to the press conference after this game, he's going to talk about the same types of things he's going to talk about after for example, Colorado, even though I'm not going to be here, Shane, that might be you going to the press conference that week. But in games in the future, Stanford comes and plays on the Friday after that. I feel like he's going to have a lot more in terms of what he's able to take away and have a true evaluation of where the team's at, because right now, I mean, this is only week 2, well, kind of sort of week 3, but technically week 2 for ASU. And I mean, you look at what happened across the Pac-12 today, and
it started
Oregon,
off
who
so
looked
good.
like they were going to lose last week, beat Ohio State, which was probably like the biggest surprise for everybody today.
Yeah.
Washington, again, did nothing against Michigan. Not that I don't think anybody really expected that. USC dropping to Stanford. And that was funny because when we talked about this on the show, I almost made a comment about how USC historically doesn't really do well early in the season. And I feel like it's always the second game. They have something weird that happens and they end up dropping that game early on. And it's like the first game starts out well and or even shaky. Sometimes the first game's shaky and everyone is already kind of hesitant on Clay Helton as it is. And then the second game happens and everyone goes just insane for the rest of the season with them.
And Utah,
Utah
like,
too.
Who like again? It started off so good for the Pack. It started off
and
so
then you
good
have
for
to
the Pack.
question what Herm's thinking now following the Utah BYU game. I mean, like now ASU's preparing to play BYU this week, and it's like what they did against U of A, I felt like would have been a lot easier to game plan and prepare for versus what happened against Utah. Now, I didn't really get to see that game, obviously, because I was here, but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, the
whole
team
thing is just in disarray. It's such chaos. Like
that team has an identity
have no
crisis.
idea.
That team has an identity crisis. You don't know what to expect, and that's kind of a
Pac-12
coach's nightmare.
Identity crisis. They don't know who
Yeah,
they're going to beat on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and the Stanford USC game is bizarre by itself. The Colorado A&M game. Can we talk about that one for a second?
That's insane.
What was going
and you know
on?
What? I gotta give it to Colorado, man. They hung in there.
Yeah.
And I tweeted this at you because I wanted our followers to see that it was something we brought up and touched on about special teams.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, a good special teams unit might not necessarily win you, or they might not win you every game, but a bad special teams unit will lose you games. And those 2 missed field goals, granted, one was from, I want to say 50 yards out.
Yeah.
But still, 2 missed field goals, that would have been enough.
That's the game. That is the game.
To give them the game, because that would have put them up 16-14.
Yeah. So let's get back to the
no. What was it? 7-3, and then Texas won 10-7. I can't do math. So then they would have won, I'm sorry, 13-10. Yeah. I can't do math.
All right, let's get back to that ASU game. One thing that I took away that I liked a lot was it's almost bittersweet, the creative play calling, the second touchdown that Nagata scored on the double end around. And then there was the pass back to Jaden. Granted, he didn't throw it again, but he ran.
Yes, I did like to see that.
Yeah, it's good to see creative play calling from this coaching staff when you don't. Now we know that Herm has that. Now we know that he can do that, and I mean he obviously he can, but now we know he will do that, and I think that's a little comforting for when we play better defenses.
Yeah, and I think what they did in the second half was just a lot more comforting. I don't know what exactly was said to them. Obviously, you can tell that they made adjustments. Sorry you died inside, Jacob, about your losing money on Colorado. But yeah, I don't know what was said to them at the half. Chase Lucas was talking while I was still at the stadium for part of the press conference, and he was saying that one of the questions was, what is it like in the locker room at halftime? What do you guys as leaders say to the team? And he was asking the seniors, and he was like, we actually don't say anything. We let the coaches take over. We have to know what adjustments we need to make. So, I mean, it sounds like at least they know mentally. It sounds like mentally they might be a little bit more mature than some previous teams or maybe some other teams that are out there right now where when they go in at the half, the players kind of just want to keep thinking they know best. Or I guess the best way to say it is just kind of like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. Like it's just not meant, it's not working out. And so I think it is wise for them to realize that and set the example and really help establish that tone with the younger players that are on the team. So it's something they can carry moving forward for years to come.
Yeah, speaking of Chase Lucas, that cornerback unit tonight again they just fly all around the field.
They
I mean,
do.
the drop when we have that coverage downfield and we have time to get to the quarterback, because that is something that I think is slept on this ASU unit is our pass rush. When we're defending downfield, we have time to get to the quarterback, and when we get to the quarterback, things get ugly really fast.
Yes, and I mean, Butler looked outstanding in my opinion once again. Like, he looked great. I think offensively he was really strong. I feel like the defense gave up a lot more yards on the ground than I was anticipating them to, because we discussed this. Antonio Pierce was saying leading up to the game, they were expecting them to play smash mouth football. So if you're expecting them to be like pounding the run game, you would have thought they'd be a little bit more gap sound, but they really weren't,
Yeah, I mean, they did only end up giving up 88 rushing yards, but it did feel like there were some missed tackles.
Though, it felt like they just were pounding the run, and I don't know why. It didn't seem like they were able to adjust, especially with their first two drives. The scoring drive specifically, I felt like was a tough one.
Yeah, but to our running game, again, the running backs look so good. Rashad White.
I will say it was nice to see Jaden Daniels use his legs tonight. Not necessarily something you always want to see. And he was saying, like, if I have the opportunity to get the ball down the field and score for my team, I'm going to do it. Especially if I can't pass, I still want to be able to contribute. So it's nice. But sometimes I almost felt like tonight I was seeing three running backs on the field, just like he was like lined up in I don't even want to say the word W-cap formation, and just taking a direct snap and running it. So I would have liked, like we said, we talked about his passing accuracy, that interception in the corner of the end zone on the first drive. I think that really shook him up and rattled him for the rest of the night because he didn't want to have another pick. I don't think he was necessarily as confident with his throws. And I kind of wonder if on that pass to Bunkley Shelton that we talked about towards the end of that one drive that just was absolutely off. He had a defender coming up behind him, and I almost was worried he was too afraid that the defender was going to jump in front of Shelton and get an interception or break it up, or I don't know what, but that was something I was wondering, like maybe it was a little bit off because he was wanting Shelton to like jump out and catch it, so the defender didn't get out there. I don't know if that was something that was going through his mind. Definitely something to consider though, but I would like to have seen him.
It's the pocket presence thing again that we were talking about.
It is, and especially at the beginning of the game. I don't know if you noticed it. He was not as soon as he was any bit of pressure, he was gone. He didn't wait at all. Like ball was snapped, he would like maybe a second, and he was gone. And
I wonder if that's something Herm has talked to him about. If Herm wants him to do that, because I'm sure if Herm doesn't want him to do that, he's not going to do it. But go ahead.
I wonder if Herm's giving him the freedom of just kind of like, hey man, play your game, play whatever you feel the most comfortable with, and that's just the route Jaden wants to go. But I kind of do have some concerns with the quarterback deciding that he's going to rush that much in a game that's this, I don't want to say minuscule in the terms of things, because going into the half, that was not a minuscule game by any means. But I mean, if you would have just looked at it on a schedule, UNLV, they haven't won a game since 2019. It doesn't look like it's going to be a big deal game. So to have the quarterback risking his body that much is the only concern I have when it's a game that's really not that crucial and it's the beginning of the season. It's something where, I mean, we saw Manny Wilkins really put his body out there a lot, and he ended up suffering because of that. So it's just a concern I personally have. I feel like, it's nice to see, but I would have liked him to maybe reel it back a little bit more.
Yeah, it's really is about finding that balance with him, because he has a talented arm, and he usually makes the right reads. He almost always makes the right reads, but it's about finding that balance. Because for sure, when you have a quarterback that's a runner like this, every single time he scrambles, it's a cause for concern as a fan. Like you don't want to see him go down. You don't want to see him get hit hard. And he's smart. He reminds me a lot of how Russell Wilson runs. He throws his body out there a lot, but he's smart with it as well. Toward the end of the game when we fumbled that snap on the goal line, near the goal line, and he was the one that dove into the pile. It just kind of shows you what type of guy and quarterback he is, where he's willing to put his body on the line. But sometimes as a fan, you don't want that, and it is a cause for concern.
And like I said, yes, it's nice to see him run, but at the same time, you don't. I think everybody's worst nightmare would have been confirmed if something would have happened to him in a game like this, because he was just deciding to try to run and take the ball for a first down himself, when he really could have just been a little bit more patient and waited to pass. So it's one of those things where it's appreciated to see the heart and the desire, and it's not something that's frowned upon, but it's something that you hope he keeps in mind. Especially early in the season, when you still have a long slate ahead of you with really questionable teams on what you're going to have to do to prepare for them,
Yeah, I agree. Jaden Daniels.
Throw at you.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is not Cam Newton, but he did put on something like 30 pounds, and he's been eating 4 meals a day, and he looks big.
He does. He does look a lot bulk. I don't want to say a lot bulkier, but you can tell he's bulked up and he's got some more muscle on him, and he's a little bit more of a. He's a grown man now. Got some hair on his chin now.
Speaking of bulking up, if you use the DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bulk up your wallet. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official betting partner of the NFL and is live in Arizona with mobile sports betting just in time for football. DraftKings is giving all new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the return of the NFL season. Bet just $1 on any football game this weekend and receive $200 in free bets instantly, no matter what. It is safe. It is reliable. It's super easy to use. It's secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the app. Get the $200. Don't be stupid. Use code PHNX when you create a new account. And place a $1 bet on any NFL game this weekend. You'll get the $200 in free bets. DraftKings Sportsbook, official betting partner of the NFL, 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Eligibility restrictions apply. Max $50 wager, one per customer. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for detail. And you know what else you should do? You should go check out all of our stuff. Get a free shirt with an annual subscription at gophnx.com. Britt, you want to tell them what you got on there and what you got coming up for your behind the paywall articles?
I am actually still kind of trying to figure out what I want to put behind the paywall, but I have a lot of really good ideas in terms of content that kind of breaks down some things that I feel like are crucial in terms of things that people care about and want to hear about. I have a couple of ideas, and I don't know where we're going to decide to put these, but I would love to do some stories on reaching out to old athletes from back in the day across all sports and kind of doing like a where are you now. Somebody who I think would actually be a great one to talk about is Maggie Ethier, who is Andre Ethier's wife. She previously was Maggie Germain. She was on the ASU gymnastics team here, was actually up on the wall before they took it down and expanded the arena back to being full size. I want to say she's an All-American. She's just outstanding. So she's somebody who I would love to do a story on. But people like that who were crucial for their sport during their time here. But if you're not just like, oh, hey, I'm a football fan, I like ASU for football, but I don't really pay attention to everything else, you might not know about them, but they have a great story. So I really am looking to tell some stories like that. I want to tell some stories that involve the fans and their connection to the community, how they're feeling. I'm thinking about doing something in terms of breaking down like a pregame, game day. I don't know what it would be called. I guess a guide in terms of where are some local places you can go, who owns them, some of the specials, what the vibe is, what you can expect. And really, I want to talk to some of the other people who are Arizona State alums who are in the area and really talk about what they think can be done to help improve the community and tell those stories and hopefully get that change implemented and be that driving force for it. So, lots of big ideas, but nothing.
Sounds like some good content. Sounds like some good content that you don't want to miss. So become a member. It doesn't only get you access to these written content or the video content that we're planning on producing. It also gets you exclusive members only deals every week on merchandise. If you haven't seen any of that yet, you got to go check it out at phnxlocker.com. You'll also get access to our members only Discord, and man, does it go down in there. We already got a bunch of members in there talking, chatting. Please be respectful if you're in there. Don't be mean. You're going to get kicked out. You don't have to do this BS stuff on social media with trolls. It's fun, safe place to hang out and chat. So go ahead and join that Discord. Go over to gophnx.com and check out all our stuff.
It's actually really fun, but I can't fully keep up with it sometimes because there's already so many members in there and they're all like chatting away.
Yeah.
And before I know it, I have like a bunch of texts from a group chat and then like a bunch of messages in the Discord, and then every other Twitter's been going insane. So I'm like, oh, I haven't really been paying attention to any of that. But when I do jump in there, it has been fun. You know, we got to talk some Pac-12 football in there earlier today. So we were talking about Oregon versus Ohio State. It's a great place if you guys are looking to meet other people, chat with some people, you know, we can talk about really anything in there. It doesn't have to be just sports related. You want to talk about, I will debate you about the best place to buy a pizza in Tempe.
Where is that?
Hit me, Amici. Well, it's kind of on the border of like, it's technically, I think, Mesa or Guadalupe.
We'll
but
give it to Tempe.
DoorDash delivers it. So
Perfect.
It's a perfect pregame place. But I'll even debate you with that in there.
All right, so let's talk some other outside of the Pac-12 news. I don't know if you saw what happened to Florida State tonight.
Yeah. Did you see they got beat by a team that is suspended on Twitter right now?
Oh my God. Why are they suspended on Twitter?
I don't know, but I just saw that they're suspended on Twitter. And my Florida State lost to a team that's suspended on Twitter.
Yeah, for any of you guys that don't know, they suffered their first loss to an FCS team. Jacksonville State, 5 seconds to go, threw up just a bomb to some what looked like blown coverage, frankly. And the receiver made a couple moves, got a nice borderline crackback block and ran it in for a touchdown to win the game 20-17. Florida State's 0-2. I'm happy to be a Sun Devil right now.
Yeah.
And then back to the Pac-12, USC's punter. This is awesome. USC's punter went to go cover his own punt, and in a scrum, he got hit for targeting in the first quarter and got ejected.
I saw someone said that the punter got like called for targeting and was ejected, and that it was like the stupidest something ever. But I had no idea what was happening because I was at the ASU game and I'm just seeing this on Twitter. And so I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but then you don't have great service in there because there's like however many other people in there using their phones, and it's concrete walls. So I'm like, you know what? I got to figure this out later. So it's good to have a full breakdown now. That's actually really kind of funny that that's what happened to them.
Yeah.
But
it is. You know, it is very SC. That is very USC. I saw his face on the sidelines when they were zooming in, and oh my God, he was almost. I could tell he was kind of holding back a smile. To be a punter and to get booted from a game for hitting somebody too hard or illegally, it's great. It's great.
I can't imagine how embarrassing that would be, like just to be USC in that situation. That's all.
Yeah, against Stanford, the whole game in general.
But also how embarrassing it is to be U of A right now and be at literally 707 consecutive days of not winning. The streak was reached, and now it's extended because they lost. And I told you guys that they were not going to win, and I didn't think that it was going to be as close of a game as they were saying it was going to be. But I thought it would be a little bit closer than it was.
Oh my! I came in here.
I know some people bet on the U of A game, thinking it was going to be a good game. I bet on San Diego State. So
yeah,
very proud on that one. Thank you, DraftKings.
I came in here about 45 minutes before the ASU game started, and the U of A game started before that. And I did take U of A spread in a parlay, just because I thought, you never know. I don't know why. I picked against them in our show yesterday or 2 days ago. Yesterday? Was that yesterday? 2 days ago. Yesterday. Wow.
Well, it's 12:05, so technically
2 days ago. I was right.
2 days ago.
Yeah, and watching that, it was funny. I was actually I saw the score was 7-0, and then I went to the bathroom, but I didn't see who scored. And then I saw a team wearing red and what looked like dark blue running into the end zone, and then I saw score go up to 14. I was like, oh sweet, U of A is winning. It wasn't U of A.
No, they were Black Pants, huh?
Yeah. But I remember when San Diego State ran all over us, so we can't
Yeah,
get
I
too
do too.
happy.
And that is exactly why I was like, I really don't think Arizona is going to get this game. Like, not that I think San Diego State is the exact same San Diego State that it was when Arizona State played them, but
Mhm.
they're not a sleeper team. Like they're always a team that competes and they're always a team that you have to prepare for. But I think that it's almost like a trap game where
Yeah.
players get too like caught up in thinking it's going to be an easy game or thinking that they're going to get the win, and then they go out there and like just like ASU kind of got knocked on their heels tonight, happens to a lot of teams that end up playing SDSU.
Yeah, low tone Capone. We were talking about this earlier, actually, in our Slack, what the line was going to be for that NAU game next week.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what DraftKings opens it as because
I'm wondering, man, what are your feelings going to be if U of A actually loses to NAU next week? And I mean, I'm saying this like, I don't even know. That would be so bad. Like if you lose to NAU, I mean, how do you argue
if
that? They're
if
not.
U of A loses to NAU,
Well,
I'll do
also, I
something on the
almost want to say
stream.
if
I
U
don't
of
know
A
what
gets
it
their
is.
first win against
Uh-huh.
NAU, it's equally like, well, you still have a losing streak because you just beat NAU, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Call us back when you beat like an actual like.
It's a lose-lose. It's a total lose-lose.
For them, it is, yeah.
All right, so I got some content to pull up. I didn't tell
Okay.
Brittany what this was before the show.
You made me all worried it was going to be somebody who took a video of me being an idiot, like scootering around the stadium because I did bring my scooter tonight. It was a lot of fun.
So this was at the Miami game today. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you what happened.
Is it Mayo?
No, it's just going to be a live. Those Mayo videos are great, though. We'll react to those sometime next week. All right, here we go.
Okay. Is that a cat? Oh my God! Is that a cat?
Yeah.
Did he catch him in a flag?
Yeah. And then
cat in the stadium for starters.
yeah.
Like I just had to bleep myself. But why is there a cat in there?
I don't know. There when I used to work at the Cardinals, and there were a bunch of feral cats in this, like where the stands were, all the time. I have no idea
I know
how.
because kind of like they have that big door that opens up so the field can slide out right back there.
Yeah, that could be
it
why.
makes sense.
But
well, it's like I was at I think I was at the Giants game where the black cat was on.
really? Oh, that's one of my favorite moments ever. Who was calling that game? Was it Collinsworth or McCoy? I think it was.
I don't know, but it's
I
just
forget who it was, but that is
like,
one of my
I mean,
favorite
I guess
videos
they're
ever.
there, but every time you see it, you're just like, is this real life right now? Like,
yeah.
what is happening?
Yeah. So the cat was unharmed. The fans below got some tension on an American flag, and it dropped right into it. Then the teams or the stadium services took it away, and it was completely fine. It's just amazing.
That I can't believe I just watched it. I thought I was going to watch a cat fall to its death.
I know. That's why I didn't tell you what it was.
Oh my God!
Even
I know.
the start of it hurts to watch. I hate
I was looking at it at first, and I thought it was someone like twirling something on the end, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's a cat!"
I loved your reaction. It was very genuine. So let's get some closing statements on what to expect from ASU moving forward with Zendejas coming back. The play calling, the penalties, lay it all on the line, Britt. What do we think about this ASU team?
Start with Zendejas because that's what you brought up first. I think it's great to have him back. He did miss an extra point attempt towards the end of the game. Not that I think that that's like the biggest deal, but again, I mean, he's still getting his leg back fresh. So I don't want to necessarily dwell on it, but we did talk about special teams being something. I did like the special teams kickoff that was not all the way into the end zone and forced them to come out and run the ball back.
That coverage was great.
They did not make it very far up the field. So that was something I'd like to see a little bit more, especially when they start playing Pac-12 teams. I think it's going to be beneficial if they're able to stop them further back and force them to have to actually move the ball further down the field instead of just giving them, that extra
30 yards
whenever it goes into the end zone. Penalties were still an issue. I felt like it was still a lot of dumb stuff, a lot of undisciplined things, just things that I don't know what exactly the statistics were again this week. I don't think they were as bad as last week.
There's
Were
no
they?
way.
I was like, they can't be anywhere. Like, they can't be as bad as last week, but they still are something that you would like to see Arizona State focus on more going into this game, especially against BYU, because BYU is one of those teams you never really know what they're going to do.
Not at
I
all.
don't want to, like, they're not technically a Power 5, but technically I feel like they should be a Power 5. They're joining the Big 12. They wanted to join the Pac-12. They're a talented team, and they're a team that plays a lot of competition from all different areas, and they have a lot of kids who are not necessarily kids. They're like grown-ass men and adults because they already went and did a mission somewhere for 2 years and came back like 20, 21, full grown. And then it's like, hey, guys, I'm here for my football season. Like, what's going on? And meanwhile, ASU has Jaden Daniels walking in, or Ladarius Henderson, who's still like 17 on at his first football game.
Is that how you think all Mormons talk? Hey guys, I'm back for my mission.
Well, no, I just meant like I was trying to like bulk up.
I know.
Man. Like, hey guys, I'm big. Yo.
Damn, those. Look at those guys over there. Those are some GAMs. Those some grown ass Mormons.
Like, oh, I gotta go this way. But
you put that away.
Some nice guns. But yeah, so I mean, the penalties are something you want to see cleaned up, especially going into a game against BYU. Where I think that is going to be crucial, and I think it can cost them the game along with special teams. I think it's going to come down, again, these are always going to be my three things, at least right now until they clean them up. Ball control, which I think was better tonight. So that is something that until they can consistently improve on it, it's like if they have a solid game against BYU, I won't be as worried about ball control going into the Colorado game and into the future. But right now, ball control is still a concern of mine because I think just one game of playing a little bit better isn't necessarily enough to erase the fact that last year you averaged 2 fumbles a game, and the year before that you were having issues with fumbles too. And penalties. I mean, you just can't shoot yourself in the foot. It's just a matter of fact, especially when it comes down to just not being disciplined, jumping off sides, playing lazy, trying to get away with cutting corners because you didn't get off quick enough. So
yeah, the penalty yardage tonight was only 7 penalties for 63. Sure felt like a lot more, but that's still not great.
That's
about
good. Half of
it's
what
better.
ASU
It's
had
a lot
last
better.
week.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is definitely an improvement, but still, I think that I feel like anything that's like 8 or below is an improvement. But given that ASU put up 13 in week 1 and had the worst penalty yardage given up in the first half since 2007, 2008. I would like to see them. That's another thing I'd like to see them improve upon for a second week in a row before I'm not as concerned about it.
Yep. I think moving forward in this season, we'll see this team develop more. I think a lot of it has to do with the 4 games last year. That's all that we played. But the biggest thing for me right now is just we need that guy on offense. Because Jaden can prove to be that field general, but we need somebody like Ricky Pearsall or Andre Johnson to be that guy. Because again, the wide receiver distribution, the wide receivers, the reception or the receiving yard distribution was very spread out again tonight. And we had like 3 people over 40 yards or something, but nobody surpassed 56. I think was the highest again.
Curtis Hodges had 56 last week, so it's one of those things. Who was it tonight? Bunkley Shelton?
Bunkley Shelton, 42 actually. That's the highest. Wow. Yeah, 56 was last week.
So, I mean, it's not like it's because, I mean, it's evenly distributed across the board. But you also mentioned specifically this week, that was something you brought up, that you'd like to see somebody step up, and we haven't had that guy offensively that stepped up. I felt like Bunkley Shelton did a little bit more in terms of stepping up to try to make himself be the man. But something I almost wonder, now that we're talking about this, is I wonder if they're not necessarily going to depend on one guy because they don't want the other defenses to be able to prepare for Jaden to be targeting that one receiver all the time. So they almost want to keep him on their toes. So maybe they're planning for every game to have somebody else be the go-to guy. Maybe some games are going to switch it up. One quarter, it's going to be this guy more they're going to target. The next quarter, it's going to be that guy. And then they're going to rotate it back and forth. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I've never played football. You guys could think I'm a complete idiot for suggesting that, but that is a thought that I have in terms of trying to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, and maybe for us it might be an overanalyzation because maybe that's just not the identity of this team. Maybe they don't have to throw for 250 yards to win games. Maybe they think they can be that dominant on defense, which is going to need a lot of work if they want to be that type of team that is a pound the ball, gridiron type team. But again, Chip didn't even play tonight. I think it was kind of a feeler game. I don't think Herm was going out there with the intention to stomp on them. But at the same time, I would have liked to see a little bit more from this squad.
I think everyone would have, and I get it not wanting to stomp on them because, they haven't won a game since 2019. It's not like anyone really expected this to be a game where it was going to be close by any means. But for personal feelings in terms of being content with the win and feeling okay with going into this BYU game, I think people would feel a little bit better going into this BYU game had they seen a little bit more.
Yeah. There's no overreacting or underreacting that needs to be done yet. These are basically our preseason games, and BYU is going to be definitely more of a test. But I think until we get to conference play, there's no cause to hoorah the team, or there's no cause to be mad at what they're doing.
I feel like your reaction should literally be able to be summed up in a GIF.
Yeah.
GIF, whatever you want to call it. But it has
a
G, and I'm calling it a GIF.
If people that say they pronounce it GIF are pretentious, even though the creator of the GIF pronounces it GIF.
I'm like,
no, that's GIF is peanut butter. GIF is peanut butter.
I love peanut butter, and I'm like, okay, now I want peanut butter.
Can we talk about peanut butter for 30 minutes? Let's just talk about peanut butter for the rest of the show.
I love peanut butter. Okay, so you guys know I worked at a restaurant and fell down the stairs how I broke my ankle, but everyone makes fun of me because I'm such a creature of habit. Every day when I get there, I have 2 slices of wheat or 9-grain toast, whatever you want to call it, with some butter and then peanut butter on the side. But the peanut butter has to be scooped out and then put under the warmer so it's melted and nice and soft, and you can drizzle it on top. Oh, it's the best.
What type of peanut butter do you use?
Honestly, I really but this peanut butter isn't as good for that. If I'm at home, I'm gonna make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I like the Winco peanut butter that you can scoop the peanuts out yourself and grind it. Super good. But really, I'm not super picky on peanut butter, but I prefer creamy. I don't really like chunky peanut butter that much unless it's a sandwich again. But if you eat just chunky peanut butter by itself, you're weird.
I want to see you on a stage talking about peanut butter for an hour. I think I could get a lot of tickets sold for that.
I probably could talk about peanut butter for an hour.
You know what I could talk about for an hour? DraftKings.
Yeah.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
You do it for 15
sports
minutes
betting partner of the NFL. It's live in Arizona with the mobile sports betting, just in time for football. Guys, get to it. It's safe, reliable, secure. Deposits and withdrawals can be done safely at your convenience. Download it today to get $200 free using code PHNX when you place $1 on any NFL game this weekend. Are you excited for tomorrow, by the way? Woo-wee! It's going to be so fun. 9 a.m. here, by the way. 9 a.m. We're doing our tailgate show.
I am one of the people that a lot of people don't like as much because they think that it's weird to like NCAA football more than NFL.
I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's weird at all.
I'm a bigger NCAA football fan. So, yes, I'm excited for the NFL, but not as excited as I was for college football to start. And also not as much as I'm looking forward to Pac-12 play getting started, even though it's probably going to end up breaking my heart after it's underway.
Yeah, we'll jump off that bridge when we get there. Is that the same?
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll jump into Tempe Town Lake then.
Yeah. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, use it. $200 free when you place $1 on any NFL bet this weekend. It's going to be fun. Make some props. Come hang out tomorrow at 9 a.m. at our tailgate show. We'll give you some picks. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus, Arizona only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Max $50 wager. 1 per customer. See DraftKings.com/sportsbooks for details. Again, go PHNX to see our stuff. Go get some free merch for signing up for an annual subscription. The shirts are sweet. The Suns one is sweet. The Coyotes one is kicking ass.
The Suns one is probably one of my favorite Phoenix Suns shirts I've actually seen in general. And then the Kachina one, the Coyotes one, I love it. I think it's also a super cool one. I can't wait for ASU to get some.
Yeah.
I sent some designs over to our graphic designer or some ideas, so I think they're going to be really awesome, but I'm really excited for whenever they
if you guys watching or listening have any ideas, shoot us a DM on Twitter. My DMs are always open just to talk.
So are mine, but I'm not going to lie to you people. I really am bad at getting back to people on DMs. I see them and then I get a different notification. I like click away and then I forget. And then I go, I don't know. I have like a bunch of unread messages too.
Mhm.
So sorry if I don't DM you back, but I will try.
I'll DM you
Probably
back, I
has a shame.
promise. Anything else to add, Britt?
I'm going to get out to practice this week early on, see what Herm has to say in terms of game planning for BYU. I think that's going to be a little bit more critical than the takeaway from the UNLV game. I think he'll probably wrap some of that stuff up too in his post-game, or not post-game, I'm sorry, but in his post-practice pressers that he has. I think he'll probably touch on some of the stuff as well there. So I'll be bringing you some updates about that later in the week for everyone who's watching. I'm excited to be back still. You know, it's always nice to be back around this many people. It was finally like a little bit more of an actual tailgating environment today because it wasn't a Thursday game. So I think even though, again, I'm not going to be here for that Colorado game, but I think everyone who is here, I know the DNVR crew's coming down.
I'll drink enough for the both of us.
Amazing time out there. And I'm just honestly really happy to be here. And I hope everyone else who's watching is enjoying being back into the swing of things and, you know, just being back and being able to see people's faces and their smiles and their physical emotions and, you know, just getting to see people and share your common interests and expressions.
I agree. So that's about it for us here at the PHNX Sun Devils podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back on Monday, I believe, right?
Or Tuesday? Monday we will have a audio only podcast, and then Tuesday we will be back hitting you with a video.
Yep. All right, guys. Later.
See ya.